Welcome to Turing Complete, the game where you build a computer from scratch, from simple components all the way up to apparently programming. So I'm not going to go through everything. I'm not going to try to explain everything. I played a few minutes of it just to get a feel for it, but it seems like this kind of assumes you have a little bit of knowledge already. So I'll talk through some things as I play through it, but I'm probably not going to cover everything from the very beginning. I guess first, maybe we should start by turning off the music. There we go. Okay, let's start. Congratulations, you have been abducted. We are testing you. The rules are simple. Build a functional computer or you will be eaten. Good luck. Alright, so first stage, we just have to turn the input on and off. Looks like we can kind of click some other things, but alright, we're good. Next level. We are very impressed with how well you complete. Okay, I just turned the switch on and off easy enough. We are not a plant. Alright, in this level, be sure how to figure out how the NAND component works. Be sure to figure out before you complete this level or you will get stuck. Alright, you can play with these to kind of see what the inputs are. You can see the inputs are here and you have to pick which outputs they should make. NAND is pretty simple, so AND is just true, or I guess just green when both inputs are green. So if any one of these are red, then these will be red. Now this is AND. This is AND, not NAND. NAND is just the opposite of that. So you turn all the greens into reds and all the reds into greens, and there we go. Correct. Level complete. Now that you've unlocked the NAND gate, it is time for you to build a circuit. Last level you made the table that described the circuit. In this level you build the circuit that matches the table. Alright, so we have to build something using the NAND gate. We have one NAND gate up here. I think we can use as many as we want. And we have to build a NOT gate, so just an inverter basically. If it's red, it's green. If it's green, it's red. Alright. Close. Alright, I think an inverter is pretty simple. Alright, we can wire it up. We just have to go like that, right? And then so if it's on, it's off, it's off, it's on. Alright, perfect. That's a pretty simple inverter using just a NAND gate. And there you go. Hit run to check it, I guess. Alright, onward. Okay, this looks like the map of everything we have to build. It goes on quite a long time. Let's not think about that yet because we're still at the very bottom. We got 3 gates we got to build, and, NOR, and OR. Let's start with AND. I think that's the simplest. Alright, so we have to create an AND gate. This is what I was talking about before. It's only green when they're both green, otherwise it's going to be red with other combinations of inputs. So a quick trick is that, like I said, AND is the opposite of NAND. So AND is not. NAND means not AND. So if we just add an inverter at the end here, we get kind of like a double negative, like not NAND. So that turns into AND. So this should work. So if both inputs are on, it's green. Otherwise, yeah, it's red. All right, run. We're good. All right, next is NOR and OR. Okay, let's start with OR. I think that should be a little bit simpler. You should be happy to get to participate in our glorious tests. You get the chance to communicate with very advanced people from the galactic civilization. Double click on a component to move it together with connected wires. Okay. Got it. So we have to do an OR, which is only red when they're both red. Now, if you look at this, it looks like it's flipped. It's a flip of the NAND gate. So you can see NAND is green, 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 red, and this is red, green, green, green. It's like a mirror image. The way that you do that, again, just like a little simple trick, you could probably figure this out just by playing around with the circuit, but you really just have to invert the inputs. Rather than inverting the output, you invert the inputs. And that should give you what we want, where we're green, either way. Let's check it. Alright, level complete. And last in this level is the NOR gate. And that is the opposite of OR, not OR. So we're going to start by doing exactly what we did with the OR gate, right? So now we have an OR gate here. So this is an OR gate. So if either one is on, if either one is on, it's green. Otherwise, it's red. Now again, NOR is not OR, so we want to add a not. Can we do it like this? Oh yeah, we can do it just like that. All right. So we just want to invert the output now, and there we go. Level complete. All right. Next stage is a circuit that's always on. So we only have one input and one output. This should be pretty simple. So we want something that, so we only have one input. So if you look at AND, right, if both inputs are red, then it's red. If both inputs are green, then it's green. That won't work. We want something where it's always, you know what we can do? We can make sure, if we don't hook up one of these ANDs, then it should always be off, right? It should always be off, right? No matter what we do, it's off. So then we can just invert the output, right? And then it's always on. But of course, this is NAND, right? And an inverter is NAND. So I think you can just do that with a NAND, right? And there we go. It's always on, no matter what you do. It's always on. There we go. This level unlocks your first manual page. This one is important. Okay, De Morgan's laws. De Morgan's laws is basically just saying that you can build any of these 4 gates out of any of the other gates. Like you only need NAND in order to build everything that's here, and same thing with like AND. You can build all these other gates. They're all interchangeable, just depending on how you hook them up. Some notes. Yeah, so that's what I said with 1. You can switch between OR and NOR by inverting the output. So yeah, if you want to do the opposite, you just invert, and yeah, negating the inputs mirrors the last row of the truth table around the center. So that's the other thing I was saying. If you want to like mirror it, if you want to turn a NAND into a OR, you're just kind of mirroring the output like there. So then you would negate the inputs. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. You can play around with it, and hopefully it makes sense to you. But yeah, these are all interchangeable, and you can kind of just play with the outputs by depending on how you hook it up, how you invert things. All right, continue. Next, second tick. I don't know what that means. As you know, these tests culminate in building a functioning computer. Species that are capable of finishing are considered sentient by law. All right, we're sentient, so I think we can finish. The main reason we don't eat you afterwards, yeah, okay, we don't eat sentient things. That's nice. Okay, so it outputs green only on the second tick. Now this is a little bit trickier because we don't have any gates that we've already made that are a lot like this. Like NOR only has 1 green tick, but it's on the first one here where they're both off. But what we can do a little trick here is if let's ignore anywhere where the desired output is red. We only want to focus on where the desired output is green. And what do we have there? We have input 1 is green and input 2 is not green. Okay, so what we want then is we take just an AND gate, right? We want the first input to be green and the second input to be not green. So it'll only trigger, the AND will only turn on when the first one is green and the second one is not green. So there we go. Input 1 is green and it's on, and all other circumstances it's off. And all we have to do is hook it up. So again, if you just focus on the green ones, it makes it a lot easier once these get more complicated. There we go, level complete. XOR gate, oh, my favorite gate. Last time you built the circuit that was green when we were at the second tick, this level built a circuit that's green when we are at second or third tick. This is also known as the XOR gate. This level is difficult, so don't be discouraged if you don't get the answer right away. Tip, you can connect one output to more than one gate. Yeah, okay. So we're actually just going to do the same thing that we did before. We want it, let's build this one, right? Exactly what we did before, where we had an AND gate and and inverted on the second one, right? So we're just focusing on this first green one. We're only looking at the green ones. We're ignoring where the output is red. We want it on if the first one's green and the second one is not green. We also want it on if the second one is, if the first one's red, or the first one's, let's say, not green and the second one is green. So it's either this or this. So if we build this one too, and we need, let's put the inverter right here just to simplify our lives. There we go, and then we can hook this up like that. Okay, it looks a little bit messy, but we should get the desired thing where this is, right, so if you look, this is green in this case, and this is green in this case, and in all our cases, they're both red. So now we got to pick, we want either one, so it's an or, right? It's either or, yeah, or, just or. We want one or the other. So now, there we go. We've just built each one separately and then hooked them up together with an or. So we want these two or these two, and that should work. All right, unlocked. Onwards. A bigger OR gate and then a bigger AND gate. Create an OR gate with 3 inputs. This is actually a lot easier than it sounds. What you'll notice is that, like, when you start building components, if you want bigger components, all you really got to do is do this like daisy chaining, like this, where we're passing the output of the first one into the input of the other one. So we're just daisy chaining these together, and we could create OR gates that were, you know, as long as we want. We would just daisy chain them all together in this pattern, and you kind of end up seeing this like with like adders and with memory. If you want more, you just end up daisy chaining what you have together. Pretty simple. And then the bigger AND gate should work exactly the same way. We just take an AND with the first 2 inputs, and then an AND right here, and we'll take the output of that first AND, put it into the input of the second AND, and then daisy chain them together like that, and then the third input goes into the second AND. There we go. Just daisy chain them together to make bigger gates. Real simple. All right. The XNOR gate. Create the inverse XOR gate known as XNOR. Now remember, we already have XOR, right? So we just need to not XOR. So all we gotta do is invert the output, hook it up like so, and that should give us exactly what we want. Onwards. All right, hey, we've completed basic logic. It's all done. Should we do a couple more maybe? Double trouble, odd number of singles, circular dependency. Let's try with binary eraser, and then maybe this will be the last one for today. All right, this level is my favorite pastime, converting decimal into binary under time pressure. So yeah, decimal goes by powers of 2. So if you want to count decimal, you just kind of add the ones that are on, I guess that are green in this case. You would add them together to get your final decimal number out of binary. So we got to pass level 3, toggle the bits on and off. All right, easy. And we have to do it in timed, I guess. Let's go. 1 in binary, 1, easy. 2 in binary, easy. 3 in binary, 2 plus 1. So we're just adding these together to get the number we want. 11 and 3. There we go. Okay, I made it to level 5 at least. I didn't get 121 in time. I got them added up, but I didn't hit the submit button fast enough. All right, level 5, done. Okay, this is, I write each binary number. The values of each digit is always double of the previous digit. There we go, powers of 2. All right, onwards. And I think that's where we'll stop for now.